time.
Rapper Kodak Black, known for hits like Super Gremlin, spotted Friday morning, not on stage, but in front of a Broward County judge.
Mr. Capri, good morning, sir. You do have a warrant.
The South Florida native granted bond after being arrested on charges for resisting and attempting to elude law enforcement.
Good afternoon, sir. If you can just tell me your name and your date of birth.
But this new arrest comes just days after the rapper faced a judge in Orlando.
Ain't no punk
In that case, making major headlines, investigators accuse him of felony drug trafficking after a traffic stop. And after bonding out in Orange County, he's back in legal trouble again.
I'm going to set the bonds as follows. It'll be $2,500 on one, $1,000 on two. No firearms, weapons, or ammunition. I do take into account the fact that he self-surrendered.
Again, and back out here live.
Yo, what's good? So Kodak just got arrested for the second time in 8 days. The second time in 8 days. And if you've been paying attention to what's been happening with Kodak over the last couple of years, you already know this isn't surprising. This is just another chapter in a story that started years ago. A story of a talented rapper who had the world in his hands and then methodically destroyed it. We're talking about legal troubles, drug charges, fleeing from police, and a career that went from promising to completely derailed. And what makes Kodak's situation different from Drake is that Kodak didn't lose to another rapper. Kodak lost to himself. And if you haven't watched that Drake video, go watch that shit right now. Kodak came from Pompano Beach, Florida, the Golden Acres projects. No father in the house. He grew up in the streets. And he turned that struggle into music. In 2017 and 2018, Kodak was everywhere. His song ZZ with Travis Scott and Offset went to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2018. He had collaborations with some of the biggest names in hip-hop. French Montana, Lil Uzi Vert, Offset. He was relevant. He was hot. And his mixtapes were getting crazy buzz. His album started charting. He had a lot of momentum. And from there, he was really a rising star, and Florida hip-hop had found its next big thing. But that was in that moment. That's when Kodak could have gone anywhere with his career. But Kodak Black has a problem. And that problem wasn't his music. It was his life choices. In 2016, before he blew up, he was accused of rape in South Carolina, Jesus. First-degree criminal sexual conduct charges. But in 2021, he took a plea deal. Assault and battery instead of the rape charge. Probation. But that was just the beginning. Because in 2019, he was arrested for making false statements to possess weapons. A federal crime, obviously. He was sentenced to nearly 4 years in federal prison. 4 years. While he was in his prime. While the world was watching. He lost years he could have been building his empire. But thankfully in 2021, he famously got the President DT. He got the pardon. And, he commuted his sentence. He got out early. But the damage was done. The legal system was already a part of his story. I know I feel like I'm going back and forth here, but in 2023, Kodak released 2 albums that year. Pistols and Pearls, and When I Was Dead. But nobody's talking about his music anymore. They're talking about all his legal troubles. In December 2023, he got arrested again. This time in Florida on possession of cocaine and tampering with evidence charges. He's booked into jail, and he didn't get out till February 2024. And he spent another 2 months behind bars in the middle of his career. And when he finally gets out, he tries to keep pushing. He releases Dilution Octave in November 2024, Trill Bill right after that, which I did like, and Gift for the Streets on Christmas 2024. He's always releasing music constantly, but the momentum he once had is gone. The culture has moved on, except for his small cult fan base, which he does have, but nobody's really checking for Kodak like they used to. His streaming numbers have dropped. His cultural relevance has faded a bit, and he's not a threat to anyone anymore. He's just a guy fighting legal battles and trying to stay relevant. And guess what? The only way he stays relevant is on Say Cheese TV with a new mugshot. Now here's where it starts to get bad for Kodak. In 2025, he was arrested again in November. An arrest warrant connected to an incident at the Children's Safety Village on Faravella Road. Police said they searched 2 vehicles and found MDMA, ecstasy, in a pink bag, and it was a trafficking amount. But here's the crazy part. Kodak wasn't even in one of the vehicles. His attorney says he was being targeted, that they couldn't even prove he was connected to the drugs. But it doesn't matter. The arrest warrant gets issued. Kodak knows it's coming, and on May 6, 2026, he gets arrested on drug trafficking charges in Orange County. Federal Drug Enforcement Agency is involved. He's booked into the Orange County Jail in Orlando. But his attorney somehow gets him released with strict bail conditions. No drugs, no contact with certain people, constant supervision. It's serious. And this is the kind of arrest that can carry mandatory prison time if he's convicted. And now 8 days later, on May 14th, Kodak surrenders on new charges: fleeing and eluding law enforcement, resisting an officer without violence. And now he's back in custody, this time in Broward County, his home county, Pampano Beach, the place he built his empire, and now he's facing charges for running from the police in it. Think about that. Kodak has gone from being a rising star from 2017 to 2018 to being arrested twice in 8 days in 2026. I'm over here saying to myself, 2 times in 8 days, that's definitely a man who's lost the plot and he's lost control of his life. And the worst part is, this is the pattern we've seen from him for years. Get arrested, get released, get arrested again, and get released again. It's a cycle. If you look at Kodak's career trajectory, the thing that stands out is how much potential he wasted. In 2022, he did have a number 3 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with Super Gremlin. Number 3. It's one of the songs, TikTok songs that had a lot of mainstream success. That's a moment, and people forget he was dropping some fire music videos on YouTube. Versatile 3. Like, man, he had some gas coming out, and then he dropped Super Gremlin. But instead of capitalizing on it, he got caught up in more legal troubles. His 5th studio album, Pistols and Pearls, which I barely just found out about, came and went. Nobody remembers it. And then his 6th album, When I Was Dead, same thing. I didn't hear about it, nobody cared. And then in the Big 25, he releases Just Getting Started, which has big features from Pharrell Williams, Chance the Rapper, Lil Yachty, Gunna, Don Toliver, that should have gotten big mainstream push. But those are major artists. But it landed at only number 4 on the top album charts and generated only 32 million streams. It's not bad. I know I'm framing it like that, but it's not what you expect from a stacked feature list from a guy like Kodak. The culture isn't as interested in Kodak anymore. Kodak had everything a young rapper could want. Had the songs, had the hits, had the collabs that everyone wanted, and he had a lot of big moments. But he couldn't stay out of trouble long enough to build on it. And now, jumping forward at 28 years old, he's facing serious federal drug trafficking charges that could send him to prison for more years. Meanwhile, his music career is essentially on the down trajectory and is looking very bad for him. No one's streaming him as much anymore. Nobody's talking about his new albums. Not saying that they're not good. He's become a punchline, a cautionary tale. So, again, Kodak's in a weird spot. He's probably going to be back in prison. That's the most likely outcome. If he's convicted on these drug trafficking charges, he's looking at a mandatory prison time under Florida law. And if he's convicted while he's already on probation from his 2021 sexual assault plea deal, the sentences will stack. He could be looking at 5, 10, up to 15 years. And that's the scariest part of Kodak's story. it's not just about his music career ending. It's about his life potentially coming to a bad trajectory. And a young man with talent, with a lot of resources, with a lot of opportunities, having to throw it away just makes me worried about the type of people he has around him. There's just a lot of yes men and a lot of people that didn't step in for Kodak and have really failed him, because this guy's making people millions of dollars. And I mean, I know, you get arrested, that's on you. You're right. But every arrest is just another reminder that Kodak's not serious about being a rapper anymore, and someone helped him get to this point. Now he's just trying to survive. But that's the current state of Kodak. From the rise in 2017 and 2018 to the endless cycle of arrests and legal troubles in the big 26. And the saddest part, this could have been completely different. He could have been let me not say that. I was about to say he could have been he is a legend. He's a Florida legend. He's a rap legend. He really, pioneered the game. Instead, he's a cautionary tale, though. I'm not going to go away from that. A guy who had the world and let it slip away. Thank y'all, bro. Another video. Like, subscribe. Love you. Bye.